YouTube family, welcome back to the channel. I feel or I sound much better than my last video that I uploaded. I did go get a COVID test yesterday because I still don't feel all too well. But even with all of that and being on house arrest basically, the grind doesn't stop. Today what you will see is me playing on mouse and keyboard for the first time in my life. The game I decided to play, of course, is none other than Spligate. Why? Well, simple. Spligate is A, it's free to play, and B, it's not overly complicated. And as a new to mouse and keyboard person, I would recommend this as a game that you play because it's simple. There's no such thing as metas. You know, the game picks the guns for you, so everybody in the game is on an even playing field as far as guns. The only thing you have to the only thing that needs to be different in you, because I don't know what the proper word was, the only word that has to be different from you, or the only play that has to be different, is just your movement. It's just your movement, your positioning, and how you approach the game. And I played the game a few times on console, and somehow, some way, one way or another, the party that I was playing with, the two friends I was playing with last night, just convinced me, hey, this should be a game you try out on PC, or you try out on mouse and keyboard. Now, I don't have a PC yet, a full PC yet. I'm still waiting on a graphics card, of course. And, well, for those of you looking for graphics cards, you should see how the prices are for those particular devices. So instead, everything that I do for the YouTube channel, all my recordings and everything, I have an actual gaming laptop, like a laptop that's designed to play games. So of course I created a Steam account, loaded up Spligate, downloaded Spligate, loaded it up, and said, hey, let's do it. Now, the gameplay you're going to see here, I'm forewarning you, is absolute garbage. It's not good. It's not good. This is probably, I want to say, maybe my third or fourth game playing and recording. And of course, the game that I decided to record is by far the worst game you'll ever see on this channel. We played this game after I got on mouse and keyboard. We played this game for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that. And as the night went on, I did start to get better. Did start to get a little bit better comfortability with the movement and everything. And PC, or mouse and keyboard, I should say. I shouldn't say PC, but mouse and keyboard. My struggle with mouse and keyboard is not really the movement, and it's not really the mouse. Like, it's not the keyboard or the mouse. It's a combination of both. See, it's a combination of both. Because the last time I played games on keyboard or mouse and keyboard or computer was back in the old days when I was playing games on CartoonNetwork.com and Nickelodeon.com and DisneyChannel.com. Y'all remember them games where you would go to the website and all the shows would be lined up at the top, and you would just click the show and then have a list of games for that? That's what I remember when arrow was to move, like the arrow buttons were to move in your games, and then your left hand was doing all the actions, the shootings, the throwing, and all of that. You know, now the mouse is how you look and see, and the mouse is really your action buttons as far as like shooting and aiming and things like that. And the movements are all with your left hand. Now, some things are natural, right? Some things are natural movements, right? Like, I can move forward and reload weapons. And in this game in particular, I can throw EMP grenades at the portals naturally. I don't have to look at my keyboard to know where the R or the G is. Now, maybe that's just a credit to my keyboarding class I took back in high school, where you have your home keys, right? You have your home keys where your hands rest. So my left hand automatically rests on ASD, and it would be F or ASD. ASD in caps lock, I think, is where it regularly rests at. So that's where that comes from. The comfortability with that. But like I said, the movement, it's just processing my brain to understand that I can really whip on an opponent. I could whip around. All the years I spent using the right analog to turn, and now it's basically been cracked out where I can just flick my mouse, and I'm a wrist mouse user. I don't really move my arm. It's all about the wrist. I flick the wrist. So to process that, I can just flick my wrist to the right or the left, and I could completely turn around on somebody. It's things that I started learning later on in the runs. During this run, as you can see, I'm still a doofus. I'm a walking doofus. I'm not sprinting. Look at my movement. Look at the way I'm looking left and right. Look at that. I'm just falling and guessing where I'm going. But through all of this, believe it or not, I was actually having fun. And I don't know if it's because I wasn't focused on trying to win a game. I was just focused on trying to learn the craft of the movement on mouse and keyboard. But I actually enjoyed getting waxed all this time. Now, I wasn't always getting waxed. Like I said, my runs later on in the day became great. Positive games. 19 and 6 type games. 14 and 12. 16 and 5, those type games, because I started to get the movement down. Then I started to incorporate sprint as far as and as well as jumping. But what you're seeing here is literally me still looking like while I'm playing, and granted, it's supposed to be a learning curve. You're not supposed to get on PC and just act out. Now, to my credit, or to their credit, I will give a shout out to all the PC or mouse and keyboard goats out there who have perfected the craft and literally do a kid's dishes so bad that he thinks that you're cheating. Because it's very easy to be accused of cheating while playing on mouse and keyboard. Because the way you can whip your controller and whip your aim around and lock on to somebody and start shooting at them, oh yeah, it would definitely look like you have aimbot and things like that. But it all goes to show, it plays more into why controller players and mouse and keyboard players should not be in the same lobby trying to achieve the same goal on the same game. Because you cannot whip around on a controller like that. I think it's much easier since I've now experienced mouse and keyboard. I think it's much easier to strafe on mouse and keyboard while staying everything intact than it is to strafe and stay intact on a basic controller. Now, of course, if you have scuff and things like that, you can remap some buttons and make everything look a little bit different, no doubt. But as far as a basic controller, it's still too many advantages that goes to mouse and keyboard players over PC players over controller players that they just should not be in the same game together. But I am very, very determined to learn the craft of mouse and keyboard because I had fun and I started to get it late, but I had to give my brain a rest before I burnt myself out trying to learn how to play on mouse and keyboard. Now, unfortunately, I decided to make this type of switch and this type of game switch a bit too late because Madden comes out today. So my time is going to be invested in another game other than this. But please hear me out. I will learn the craft of mouse and keyboard, and you will start seeing every shooter that I play now. I'm no longer allowed to play on controller anymore, according to my friends that convinced me to get on this on mouse and keyboard. So every shooter you see me upload now will be on mouse and keyboard. So, hey, I got to go through the growing pains, right? But I'm determined to learn the craft of mouse and keyboard because I had extreme fun playing this game on mouse and keyboard. But until next time, it's Chris Jones is signing out.